guys are having a wonderful day and are making some really good trades. Let's dive into some analysis here. Bitcoin is making some big moves at the moment. Big bounce back from the big drop, in which, by the way, my members caught that amazing short from the highs. Again, we closed that one in big profits, 86% gain. Huge win for the Discord. Again, if you guys want to join, the link's in the description. It's only $15 a month, right? You could have caught an amazing trade. And again, if you don't believe my history, my track history, everything is posted on my website. Feel free to check it out within the link within the description. Anyways, let's dive into the analysis here. And right now, Bitcoin could be gearing up for a bounce back to 83,000 or even 84,000, right? If it can muster it, right? Could the highs already be in, right? Can we make the case that the wave 2 is in, right? Yeah, you could make the case for that. It's looking pretty corrective, to be honest. Like, just taking out this high, you've got minimum requirements for the high on the Y leg. If you erase divergence all at the same time, sure. The things are going to be just fine, and we're going to get a nice pump, right? And this would come in line too with probably like the Nasdaq pumping some more, because my guess is like we're going to see a lot of fake news in the coming days. We're going to see a lot of news outlets like, oh my god, the tariffs are over, just like we saw today. The Nasdaq gapped down 5%, right? We were down 5, almost 6%. And then the news, the markets open, and then suddenly the fake news comes out, and the Nasdaq pumps from from like the lows to the highs, like almost 10%. Like it was insane how much it pumped, right? 8 to 9%. And after that they figure out it's fake news, the market collapses. The market collapses back down. It's been a volatile day, ends up closing a little bit in the green. And now we're getting a nice little overnight pump. People are feeling good. They're ready to long. The lows are in, right? The lows are in. Just like the Bitcoin lows were in here, right? The lows are in. And you know what? We made new lows. So now all those guys that were saying that the lows are in, there's a 99% chance that we tag the low. We're going to hold the long forever. We're never going to take profit. And then boom. Now they all got liquidated, right? Big flush out. All the stops hit. Now we're getting a big reversal. Now we could easily come back up to 84,000 before continuing this downtrend. It's very possible. You could even tag this downsloping trend line. Now, I don't know when I'm going to take my trade, but when I do, I'm going to let my Discord members know in real time. Let's get rid of a few boxes here. There's a lot of possibilities of what Bitcoin could be doing. It could come back down here in an ABC, which it kind of looks like it's trying to do. Right, from this peak, the target would be 76,000. And if it comes down, if Bitcoin comes down to 76,000, right, and we get another bounce, this target will be lowered. It will probably be coming around. Again, I'm just doing some quick guessing here, probably around 82 to like 81,000. And at the same time, we have some spider lines right around this area that could prove to be resistance again, right? 81,400, and the other one that was 83,800, right? And these spider lines have proven to be amazing bottoms, right? Amazing bottoms for some great reversals. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, 30-minute works too, but the 4 hour is probably the best one. Like this one, yes, on Sunday night, we came all the way down to 77,000, and then boom, huge, $1,000 bounce, and it came back down, and then eventually broke, right? Then it recovered. Now we're finding resistance again at 79,000, 500, 700, something like that. So overall, Bitcoin is in a rough state, right? You've broken the lows. The lows are in crowd are very quiet now. They're calling, well, actually they're not very quiet now. They're calling in that these are the lows. These lows are never going to break. And I'm telling you that we could easily come back down. The VIX is very high in the market. We're on edge. There's all sorts of news coming out. We could easily reverse down and come back down and continue to make new lows. We could also chop sideways. It could take a lot of time, chop up more traders, and then the drop comes. Now, because the nature of the correction here, the fact that we're continuously resetting, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean that the target is going to be significantly lower, right? And we're going to actually breach these levels. And it could also mean that, we could have an alternate scenario. And now I have a more bullish scenario here, right? So let's start paying attention to the RSI and not this giant mess here that I have for accounts. Just focus on the RSI, right? So from this low here, you go all the way up to this level. Finish. No divergence. Peak RSI, right? Now you come back down to here. Peak divergence. Sorry, peak RSI. No divergence. And if you do this, then you have a target at 92 to 93,000. And this would play out like a flat. Now, this is not my most favorite scenario. This is my least favorite scenario. This is the scenario that I think is the least probable to happen. But it's a scenario nevertheless, and I have to illustrate it here. And it could happen, but again, it seems very unlikely to me given the current market conditions. Now, if this happens, the markets are probably going to do something like this, where the Qs pump straight up into a resistance area that's like 6% above their 7% above their target. You start to fill this gap and try and attempt to fill this gap. It would be a massive rip your face off rally, which will inevitably become a rug pull again. And then we could go down even more after that. So as for now, I'm going to go with the more conservative count. And it's going to be like something like this. Either we go down here, we get a nice bounce, and then we rally back up to like 82, 83,000, right? And again, I'll adjust my target, and I'll give my targets to my members. And we'll try to long this. There's a possible long attempt. We could even, SFP the lows here, and then come back up later on. When we take a look at market cipher, right? Let's take a look at market cipher. See what's going on. So now we can clearly see the weekly is opening up to the downside. The momentum waves are open. The 13 and the -5 on the dual bench strength index, very bearish. The 4-day is very bearish indeed. The 3-day and the 2-day are indeed quite bearish as well. The 2-day is definitely accelerating towards the downside. And the daily time frame now taking a pause, taking a break. We've sold off a good amount. It's a 4 to 3 now. We've gotten a big bounce off the lows. The 12-hour looks like it's going to print the green dot here. The momentum waves are curling. It's getting ready. It's ready to print a green dot. 6-hour has already printed a green dot. We've seen some nice reversals. Same thing for the 4-hour. Got some red money flow. 1-hour time frame. You're now starting to curl in, right? The 1-hour momentum is curling back in here. If you print a red dot, you could have a short setup, right? And then a quick dip down, which could still trigger, like I said, a smaller momentum wave and come in line with that dip buy area. And if that happens, we're going to take the long side of the trade. Okay? We're going to take the long side. We're going to attempt. It could be an attempt. Again, nothing is set in stone. Always depending on the setup at hand when it's in front of us. Let's take a look at wave edge. Wave edge, nothing new on the weekly. The 3-day time frame, nothing new. The daily time frame, nothing new. The 4-hour. Now we got something cooking here. We got a green cross right at the lows. Saw some dip buys coming in. Okay. Now you take a look at the 1-hour time frame. Okay, now you saw some whale buys, right? Some big buys coming in, and some green, some significant dip buyers as well. And then you take a look at the 30-minute. It's got a little up. There you go. So you saw actually some big selling here when it came up to 80,000, 81,000. That was actually pretty interesting. And we haven't taken out those highs, right? So for all we know, right now, the wave 2 could already be in. But I'm not in any positions at the moment, right? This could be a 1, 2, and it's just a 3. We're going to get a 3, and it's capitulation mode. We're going to take out these lows again, and then tomorrow morning all the lows are in crowd are going to be, you know, quiet as hell again with nothing to say. And again, I don't call in lows and I don't call in tops. I just give you guys my targets, and they're either short areas that will be respected, or they're going to be, you know, dip buy areas that are going to be respected or invalidated, right? My areas sometimes get invalidated, and the ones that, you know, hold up, then we keep on the chart, right? And there's some really nice setups and lots of trades that we've taken here, as you guys can see. Short, short, bounce, short, right? Now I'm telling you guys there's a possible long setup if we come back down here. And it could easily bounce back up and whipsaw the entire market up, down, right? And everyone is just caught up in the emotions. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's going on. Whew. Right? Right now, hitting a lot of some liquidity blocks here, right? That 1 hour time frame, running right into resistance. Now we come back down, there's going to be some support. I think we need to come back a little bit lower, you know, like 75, 76, something like that. I don't have a liquidity block actually lining up with my dip buy area, but again, it doesn't have to do that. My areas work without liquidity blocks, right? And we'll have to see. We'll have to see if this plays out. It's going to be an interesting night. We'll see where we wake up tomorrow morning. So yeah, that's kind of it, guys. I don't really have much to add. It's just a time to be, you know, careful and not take on so much risk. As for me, I don't have any crazy trades going on at the moment. I'm really just kind of like on the sidelines, just watching everything. You know, I saw Farcoin pump like a crazy amount today, and like it could easily give back all of its gains, right? Like we're back to resistance again. So it's not time to go you balls to the wall, crazy long, high leverage, high risk. No, it's time to be nimble and take small trades and take small wins. Okay? Have a good night, everyone. Peace.